And we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Joe with Joe Knows Cryptos. Going to do a short video update here. Do have to pick my son up from school. Been super busy still. But I made a video 2 weeks ago saying that you have 2 weeks to get your cryptos, your Bitcoin, not your cryptos, your Bitcoin, and your Litecoin. I made a video 1 week ago saying you have 1 week to get your Bitcoin. Well, it's been about that 2 weeks, and guys, the time is arriving. However, the time for Bitcoin to go up has begun. However, hi everybody. Hey everybody who's joined in. I'm going to read the comments after I just give my quick spiel here because I have to pick my son up from school. I have to leave here in about 5 minutes. So just wanted to tell you about an experience I had today. So as you know, I like to promote cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Litecoin, my two favorites. And I had a friend of mine, been talking to him about Bitcoin for a little while here, and he wanted to buy some Bitcoin. So we went to Coinbase, downloaded the app, linked his card, linked his checking account, and they denied him buying Bitcoin. He tried to buy, first they put a limit to $400 was the most he can buy, which is common. I know when I signed up, they had a limit on me and then they raised it. And now I can buy crazy amounts that I could never even afford to buy. But in the beginning, they did limit me. So I said, yeah, okay, you know, he said, I can only buy 400 because he wanted to put a couple $1,000s in there. So he hit buy, and it said there's a $15 and some change fee to purchase. And it wouldn't let the transaction go through. I said, well, maybe you have to take the 400 limit minus that $15 fee. Maybe 400 is the max, including the fee. So why don't you just buy 350? And then tomorrow you can buy more if you want, whatever. Tried that. Would not let him purchase it. Then he got a message from his bank asking if he wanted to approve the transactions. He said that he did. They said if they haven't gone through, try again and it'll go through. Checked his account. None of the transactions went through. Went back, tried to purchase again, 350. Denied. We were there for over 2 hours trying to get him to buy some Bitcoin, which he wanted to buy, and he spent the time. And I spent the time with him, helping him out, because he's not that computer savvy. That just shows how difficult it is for your average, ordinary person to try and purchase Bitcoin and crypto. I don't know if this is intentional, but to me it seems like they could make it a heck of a lot easier to get in. I know a lot of people that after the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour even, would just said, you know what, forget it. I don't need the crypto that bad. 2 hours he tried, and he still has 0 Bitcoin. I told him, just wait. Maybe it takes a while for everything to link up and your bank to approve the account and blah, blah, blah. But I just have a feeling it may not be until tonight. It may not be until tomorrow. He may have to actually call his bank and talk to somebody. A lot of people aren't going to go through all those shenanigans just to invest in something that, you know, they're kind of taking a chance on. A lot of people start thinking, oh, this is a sign, I shouldn't buy it, or oh, this is too much work. Is it going to be this much work when I try to take my money out? You know, a lot of thoughts start going through people's minds as it takes time, especially when you're dealing with money. The positive of it is, if you do invest that much time in it, and you do eventually get it to go through, that shows a certain level of commitment that you are committed to buying, you know, the cryptos, that you didn't give up, and that you're probably going to more than likely start to get into it more and probably invest more regularly in crypto and become one of the crypto fanatics like us, right? Well, anyway, just want to talk about, you know, Bakkt kind of went live with their only to certain people with a certain status, with a certain amount of money, not for the ordinary people. Another company went live, didn't have that many transactions. But Bitcoin is the type of thing that, you know, when they say fear of missing out, it's a real thing. And I'm anticipating that we're going to have a fear of missing out coming in very, very soon. We've got Litecoin. I don't know what to buy right now, Bitcoin or Litecoin, because Bitcoin, I know is going to go crazy. Litecoin is so cheap right now. It's so undervalued um, that I believe that it is also going to go crazy. If I had to pick one or the other, I don't know which one I would pick to buy right now. Still probably leaning towards Bitcoin a little bit because it's the one that everybody knows. But Litecoin is such a deal right now. Boy, you can pick up a whole bunch of Litecoin for not a whole lot of money compared to where it was a couple of months ago when it was at $140. It's half the price of that right now, and that's a deal. But you can say the same thing about Bitcoin, where it was at its all-time high, but at 14. But guys, I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think once they stop playing these games, which should be any time now, that we are about to see an amazing run here over. As soon as it starts, I don't think it's going to cool off. I think it's just going to keep going. It's going to be September. We've got this news with that coming out, and then it's officially going to come out like for the public, I think like the 23rd or something. That's a catalyst. September, October, we've got good news. In November, we've got a lot of good news coming out. I just don't see any whales coming in and selling off a big chunk of Bitcoin and try to cause that fear, because they know right now that people are going to come in and buy up whatever they sell. We saw it once where there was a quick drop when Bitcoin was at 10,000 something, and it dropped down to like near 9, and then boom, within minutes, it was right back up over 10. That's what happens when whales try to scare the market now. So people keep saying, oh, it could go down to 8,000, could go down to 6,000, this and that and the other. Look, this is not financial advice, guys. I personally don't see it happening. I personally think that the whales at this point they'll never have enough, but I think they're at a point now where they know if they try to sell off and scare the market into selling off, that they risk losing the Bitcoin that they dump on the market to retail investors like you and I, if they can start accounts on Coinbase, like I just talked about. But people like you and I are ready to scoop up that Bitcoin as soon as we see any kind of buying opportunity, and that's what they're considered. We call them buying opportunities. Whenever Bitcoin gets down below 10,000, people are ready. They got their finger on that buy button, just waiting to see any kind of reversal and buy. Boop. And once they start buying and that Bitcoin starts flying, I still said, and I said it from the beginning of the year, that I think this is going to be the best year for Bitcoin. I think we're going to be higher than the 20,000. I predicted 40. I don't know if we'll get 40 because there may be sell-offs once you get over 20. You know how things go, up and down, up and down. People who bought it 10 might sell when it gets to 20, but they might not. Guys, with this halving coming up in Bitcoin in May, and now they're saying it might even be sooner than that because the hash rate has increased. So it's not every 4 years, it's every however many blocks are mined. And that rate has been increasing, meaning that time frame is getting shorter and shorter. When Bitcoin halves again, it's going to be 1.8% inflation. Current inflation is minimum 2%, probably closer to 4%. And if we see any type of financial turnaround, we could see inflation up to 5-6%, especially if they start pumping money into the market, into the marketplace, printing out money, helicopter money, which they've been talking about, which I actually think is already happening, because now we've got the stock market once again at or near all-time highs, not just yearly highs, not decade highs, all-time highs, right? So why is it at all-time highs? Who's buying stocks? Who has money to buy stocks? Do you have money to buy? I mean, I have a little bit of money and I put it into Bitcoin and Litecoin. The people that are buying stocks are people that are getting money from the banks at low interest rates, the people who run the companies, and they're putting it right back into their companies, keeping the price inflated as high. They just keep borrowing money at 0% interest. It's like free money, buying stocks, making the price of their stocks go higher and higher but it's all fake. It's fake. It's not real people investing in something they believe in. It's people who own the companies investing in the stocks to beat earnings, to make profits, because they own a bunch of shares and they want to keep the price up, because they know if they don't. And there was a time in November last year, there's like a 2-week period, and I don't know what the regulation is called, but it's a time period when people are not allowed, our companies are not allowed to reinvest in their company. And you saw it last year during those 2 weeks, the stock market went whoop to the day when they were allowed to reinvest, and then it went right back up. And we've got November coming up here again soon. And if it's the same time every year, I'm not sure what it is. It's the first time that I heard of this, but it is a regulation where they're not allowed to put money back into their companies. And the market it tanked for about 2 weeks. I mean, tanked. Then as soon as they were able to get that money and put it back in, boom, they just pumped their own stocks back up. So this is what's going on. This is what's keeping the market up. It's not actual value. It's just 0% interest money being borrowed from the banks, part of that helicopter money, part of the printing of the money that's just going out. And the Fed know, and the economists know, that they have to do this to keep these stocks going up, because once they stop, no, these companies aren't going to be putting money into their own companies, their own money, out of their own pockets, because they know their stocks aren't worth anything. They're just taking that free money and throwing it into the stocks because it doesn't cost them anything. All it does is help their stock price go up and the shares that they have go up. But eventually, it's going to come to an end. And when it does, all this inflation over the last years, and it hasn't just been the last 6 months or since November last year, it's been for years, this false pumping of the market, and it's going to come to an end. And when it does, all that money that they have to pay back, which are going to eventually have to pay back to the banks, where is the money going to come from? It's not coming from earnings, because these companies don't have super duper earnings. They're going to have to sell those stocks. And that's just it can be very, very, it could be another Black Friday, a black month. It could be terrible. But while they're still getting this cheap free money, and while they got these deals worked out with the Fed and the government and the banks, it can go on for as long as their debt becomes too severe. Even if they're only paying 1 or 2% interest, eventually it's going to catch up with them. If it's 0%, which it may be, it's just free money, and the banks don't care, because the banks know that these companies have to keep growing. Otherwise, the banks are going to also go under. So I don't know how long this is going to last, guys. But when it does end, it can be awful, or they're just going to keep going. But it's just going to keep inflation going higher, which is going to help Bitcoin just as well, and Litecoin. So either way, we're in a can't lose situation. Okay. Either way, Bitcoin can't lose, because if inflation goes up, Bitcoin's inflation is lower. People are going to start investing in Bitcoin. All right. So guys, I got to pick up my son. Let me look through the comments real quick here. And guys, hello everybody. I'm not going to name all the names here, but yeah, something's boiling for sure. I think we're getting close here, guys. Yeah, just have to be patient, guys. It's on the way. It's going to come. Please give me a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, share. And I do have to go, but kiss your spouse, hug your kids, pet your pets. Joe Knows Cryptos. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great day. Bye now.